Hi everyone, tonight on the program, Ghana's economy expanded by 5.4% last year, higher than the 0.4% recorded in 2020, indicating that the economy has rebounded. We hear from the Ghana Statistical Service.
From a subsector point of view, we see that the services sector continues to lead with 48.9% out of the total, corresponding to 210,882.2 million Ghana cedis.
Ahead, we hear from economist Dr. Daryl Kwawu, who is asking government to add value to primary commodities in order to sustain this growth.
We must try and add value to our commodities so that we can sustain the growth. The most important thing is to sustain the growth. If we are able to sustain our growth between, say, 7 and 10% for the next 5 to 10 years, Ghana will be better.
Plus, a special feature on the tricycle or pagia business, as it is known here. We explore why some youth in the Ashanti region are unwilling to quit despite the risks.
This is not illegal, as they've been saying, but it has come to help a lot. It is helping the government, it is helping we, the drivers, it is helping those buying, you understand? So it is helping a whole lot, it is helping the customers.
My name is Daryl Kwawu. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Details in a moment. Well, first up tonight, Ghana's economy expanded by 5.4% last year, far higher than the 0.4% recorded in the year 2020, a period that the COVID-19 pandemic hit severely the global economy. Now, according to provisional estimates by the Ghana Statistical Service, only 10 countries in Africa recorded growth rates higher than that of Ghana. The strong growth rate was driven by the services sector, particularly the information, communication and technology subsector and the agri sector, such as fishing. Professor Samuel Kobdenim is government statistician.
We look at the last quarter of 2021 from a subsector perspective, starting with the agricultural sector, keeping in mind that for the last quarter of 2021, the agricultural sector recorded the highest growth rate of 8.2%. Within the agricultural sector, the lead subsector was the fishing subsector, which grew at 21.2% in the last quarter of 2021, and the sector that recorded the least growth over the same period was the forestry and logging subsector, which recorded a growth rate of 3.4%. In the industry subsector, we saw that the water and sewage subsector recorded the highest growth rate of 21.7%, keeping in mind that the industry sector grew the least across the three subsectors with a growth rate of 4.8%, and the mining and quarrying subsector recorded the least growth of 0.5%. Oil and gas over the same period, that is the last quarter of 2021, grew by 0.2%. Within the services subsector, that had the second highest growth rate for the last quarter of 2021, grew by 8.1%, with information and communication being the lead subsector, which grew by 52.3% on a year-on-year basis. And indeed, we did record a contraction for the health and social work subsector as it contracted by 13.1%. We now turn over to the annual estimate, that is GDP for the whole period, that is January to December 2021, keeping in mind that 2013 is the base year. The provisional current annual GDP estimate, including oil, for 2021 stood at 459,130.9 million, and this compares with 391,940.7 million, which was recorded for the year 2020. Provisional current excluding oil for the same period, that is annual 2021, stood at 437,975.2 million relative to the 378,147.9 million that was recorded for the same time in 2020. From a subsector point of view, we see that the services sector continues to lead with 48.9% out of the total, corresponding to 210,882.2 million Ghana cedis, followed by the industry sector, which recorded 30% of the overall GDP for the year 2021, corresponding to 129,771.1 million Ghana cedis. And again, on an annual basis, we see the agriculture recording the least with 21%, corresponding to 90,489.1 million Ghana cedis.
Government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnenim there. Well, economist Dr. Du Osusakode is challenging government to add value to the country's primary commodities in order to sustain the growth recorded in 2021.
We've seen increment in gold prices. Cocoa prices is also quite sustainable. We have seen increment in crude oil price. The government budgeted $62 per barrel, and now we are doing about $100 per barrel. So the increment in commodity prices have been the driving force for the public finance and also the GDP growth. And if there's any external shock to the commodity prices, our economy will badly be affected, and that is why there shouldn't be over-reliance on primary commodities, which should just add value and industrialize. So given the fact that the commodity prices are picked up, I think it's a good sign, and going forward we must try and add value to our commodities so that we can sustain the growth. The most important thing is to sustain the growth. If we are able to sustain our growth between, say, 7 and 10% for the next 5 to 10 years, Ghana will be better, far better than what we see now. So my concern usually has to do with the sustainability of the growth. We can grow 8 and then you decline to, say, 0.4 or 1 or 3, and that would not, give us the needed benefits. So,
all right, let's shift attention to other news for you tonight. The rate of unemployment in the country has driven many young men in the Ashanti region to venture into the tricycle or pragya riding business. Now, whilst operating without licenses and failing to observe traffic regulations, these riders are major contributors to road traffic crashes. Now, despite the high risk, the commercial riders are unwilling to quit the business due to the economic relief it brings to them. There is more in this report by Mona Lisa Frimpong.
Waid Musa is an accounting graduate of the Kumasi Technical University. After failing to secure a job after school, he turned to tricycle pragya riding to earn a living. This has been his source of income for the past 3 years.
Though we know this is not illegal as they've been saying, but it has come to help a lot. It is helping the government, it is helping we the drivers, it is helping those buying, you understand? So it is helping a whole lot, it is helping the customers. When you go to the market women now are a bit relieved, because at first the way the prices the taxi drivers do charge was killing them.
With some riders earning 800 cedis weekly, many are not moved to search for white-collar jobs. The industry has also been supporting the local economy, says Al Asbat Sidi, Public Relations Officer of the Pragya Okada Riders Union.
A mechanic, motor mechanic, when you go to his shop, you won't see any motorbike. Now they are into this motor. So you see, now this motor has fed them job. You know, straighters, those who straight cars, now they don't straight cars anymore because they don't get money into straighting cars. So if like I'm to take you to a straighter shop right now, you see one car, you will see a data about 10 or 5 parking there. So that one too, a straighter has gotten a job through the Adedita. When you go to the sprayers, those who spray car, you will see one car stand by. You will see him spraying about 5 Adedita in a day.
There are over 16,000 Pragya and Okada riders in the Ashanti region. About 200 are university graduates. According to leaders of the union, the business has reduced the rate of crime in some suburbs of Kumasi.
From 2016-2017, there are some thugs in Ababu called Arabagari. Every 3 days, you hear gunfire in Ababu. People are being shot, fighting everywhere. So, have they ever sit and ask themselves, where is these boys? Because they have nothing doing. That's why they get in fighting. This base and this base, this base and this base. You pass through Ababu, you'll be hearing gunfire like you are like Liberia. But now, since the Adedeta came into this system, most of them now they are driving Adedeta.
Though the trade has brought economic relief to many young people, it is a major contributor to road accidents.
Typically, if you use the Aboboya, you know that the drivers are not protected, and then the passengers also are not protected. So they tend to have a lot of head injuries. So they have fractures involving the forehead, the mid face, and then the lower jaws. On the average, if you take like a month, we see about 10.
Many of the riders are minors who operate without license and fail to observe traffic regulations. Some learn the art of riding in a day. The security authorities find this indiscipline worrying.
Make sure that we discourage the public or motorists who don't have the requirements to use the motors from using it by way of arresting them and prosecuting them.
So aside a number of Pragia riders learning the art of riding tricycles in a day, many foreign nationals are alleged to have also entered the trade, and many are riding these tricycles underage, thereby contributing to the increasing rates of accidents on our roads. And some are also alleged to be criminals who have been robbing people of their possessions when they board their tricycles. Out of the 16,000 Pragia Okada riders in the Ashanti region, only 500 are associated with unions. This makes tracking and educating them on traffic rules and regulations difficult. Simbiat Redo is director of the Ashanti Regional Road Safety Authority.
If they are unionized or they are identified and given some form of training, and then also if they are regulated, I think it will go a long way to help the operations and then also help to reduce the crashes we are recording by the operations.
Several calls have been made to ban the use of Pragia and Okada motorcycles as commercial transport. But leaders of the union fear the consequence may be overbearing. Rather, they want a collaboration with law enforcement agencies to regulate the indiscipline of Adedita riders on our roads.
Police alone cannot solve the problem of Adedita in Ghana. They can't. I'm telling you. They need us, we need them. But you see, they have one problem. Let me say it on the camera. Whenever they are calling us for meeting, you see, that is my biggest problem. They are not calling us to deliberate on the issue. They just call us, giving us directives, threatening us. We will ban you within 2 weeks. We will do this to you. And that doesn't solve any problem.
Mona Lisa Frimpon reporting.
You're watching Business Live. We still have some transport-related stories to report. Coming up, the Joy Business Van follows through the journey of Ghanaian mobility startup Star Bus, now trips Ghana after it was successfully acquired recently by one of West Africa's leading mobility firms. That story coming up after this break. That's our program tonight. Thanks for watching. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. There you go. The day's latest stories over there. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Goodbye.